Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Hunt Lift Eat podcast, brought to you by Hunt Lift Eat Official. And I'm here. I'm here with a big crew tonight. I'm here with the man himself. I'm here with the one and only Luke Cox. We pinned him down. What's up, dude?
What's going on, man? I haven't been on one in a minute. It's good to be back.
Yeah, knock the rust off.
Yeah, for sure. We've been on the event and expo circuit. I've been splitting time between Colorado and Louisiana. Back down in Louisiana in my camper, my luxurious abode down here. Trying to claw tooth and nail to get out of the Army. So hopefully that'll happen here in the next 2 weeks.
Fingers crossed. All good things, man. And we've got two very special guests who've been with Hunt Lift Eat for a minute now. We've got our two coaches for our training programs. We have Kylie and Bobby joining us this week. What's going on, Kylie and Bobby?
Hey, guys.
Hola.
Bobby, welcome back.
Thanks. I feel, I just realized that I've been here 2 years now, literally this week. And this is the first podcast I've been on with Luke after all the hundreds of podcasts I've done.
Really?
Absolutely absurd.
There's no way that's actually true.
I can swear to this right now. Unless there was a podcast of you just ripping on me for a straight hour and a half, then I don't think it exists.
We were on a podcast together in Antelope Camp.
That doesn't count. That doesn't count.
Well, I'm stoked because we haven't talked about training programming in a while. It's been awesome because Bobby and Kylie have really taken ownership. Bobby came in first. I had to hand it off because there was just nothing that I could do with it anymore. Pete, who started off, built most of our original programs, is off at Wharton getting his MBA and making a lot of money, or whatever his actual MBA is in, but he makes a lot more than we do. And greener pastures. Bobby came in. We decided to roll with WODIFY. We ran a beta with the team for, about from July until December, so about 6 months, where we ran through a couple of our programs through the app. WODIFY it's not exactly what we're looking for. It's kind of a square peg into the round hole, but Bobby's been really adaptable and has really made it work for the team. And then we launched it forward-facing as part of a challenge in January, which was really cool to see. We had a bunch of folks from Gen Pop come in and join the challenge and have been running through the program. So the way we're kind of formatting it is running through one of our HLE programs, kind of tailored to be better facilitated through the app. And then also just it's a lot more customizable because now you have two coaches that are there to help you with, movement substitutions. If you've got any injuries or if a movement's too advanced or scaling, you can bounce it off, the coaches, which is really cool. But, Bobby, Kylie, I'll turn it over to you guys and let you kind of run through what we've been doing.
Yeah, Kylie, take it over.
You want me to take it over? So part of our betas, which I thought was a really good kickoff, is we did the Balder program to start. So to kind of ease folks into it, because our programs are lengthy and they hit different systems and they are sequenced in a way that they can build on each other and build up to someone who's going on a Western hunt or someone who just wants to get fit. So there's a lot of different ways to apply the programs. And the Balder program was kind of a bodybuilding strength-based. People are going through the holidays. We looked at the program and said, hey, we're going to modify a little bit, let the team members get used to the formatting and guide them through the holidays because everybody kind of falls off the wagon for that. So it was good to have a group for accountability. And then we took off running with WODIFY. So that ended up being an increase in strength conditioning. Definitely some of the endurance portion of it incorporated a little bit of running, but not too much for those who were cardio resistant, gave them a little taste. And then that'll start to roll into Magni, which will elevate it a little bit further. So those were the three sequences, which have taken us, at least 6 months, because this is going to run into mid-March. So, but it's been really positive so far. Feedback's been great.
Yeah, I can definitely agree to that.
I'm just going to
In
agree.
a few words.
Well, I saw your mouth moving, so I thought you were getting ready to say something. So I was like, "Oh shit!" There's no raise hand feature in this one. Sorry, my mistake.
No, Kylie said something there that I think is really the best part of having, the app is the accountability piece. You're in there with other folks that are doing the program with you every single day, which is really cool. It's kind of like having the camaraderie that you would have in like a CrossFit gym or a group class without, the gym or without being there in person. And it's a great way to meet folks that are, passionate about it. It was cool when we did it with the team because everybody kind of knows each other through the team member program. But now that we're doing it forward facing, then everybody has the opportunity to kind of participate in that. And really, long term, what we're building towards is lessons learned for us to launch our own app long term. That's kind of the end state is that we're going to build our own training program app that's built exactly the way we want it. And Kylie and Bobby are, getting feedback and, building lessons learned and wants and needs and all that stuff for what we do when we build our own, go through our own dev cycle to launch our own app, which I think is going to be a better format anyways. But this is just a really good way to, one, get some feedback from the public on the programs themselves because, I would say if anything, that's why we listened and we actually iterated to where we had to scale them down so we have beginner, intermediate, and advanced because our standardized programs, which is all the advanced versions, were pretty intense. And if you don't have a background in it, it can be overwhelming. And we saw a lot of people, they would start off strong, but then they get sore and they would just fall off. So having the option to be able to scale it back and then somebody there on the coaching side to be able to be like, yeah, roll it back to this, do this, but still follow the program, and the intent of the program, I think is really important because I was talking to a guy early on and he was complaining about a couple things. And I was like, well, did you complete it? And he was like, well, no, I drop all this, all the metabolic conditioning off. I was like, well, you can't do part of the program and then complain that the program's not working. Like, it's built the way it is. And, we try to be efficient with that program to where the metabolic conditioning is still part of your accessory work for your strength. You're still hitting like muscles and, or some sort of muscular balance. If you're doing something that's extremely posterior chain heavy, you're going to hit something on the front of your body, and then vice versa throughout the workout. So I've been really pleased with it. My schedule's been nuts, and I've been the worst perpetrator of not doing it. But now that I'm finally can see the light at the end of the tunnel for getting out of the Army and at least somewhat living in the same spot, I'm looking forward to jumping back into it.
Yeah, and frankly, y'all have done a phenomenal job with it. And honestly, it's one of my favorite aspects about the company as a whole is our training programs. And it's really something we don't talk enough about, Luke. And that could be, I could be a culprit there as well. I get too focused on the hunting side of things. And we need to talk about our training programs more because it's something we should be super proud of. I've run our programs consistently for the last 3 years, just cycling back and forth based on different goals, different objectives I want to achieve. Like Balder is not one I would have chosen. I think that's like more of a kind of what you would consider like a classic bodybuilding program. And it was good to shake it up and do something new, especially like you said during the holidays, Kylie. But I think it's something we need to talk about far more frequently. And now that we're offering it to the public, which is what forward facing means, that was a new term for me. Didn't know what that meant. So anybody can come join and participate in these programs and get involved kind of wherever. So Bobby, why don't you talk a little bit about how can people get involved? What does that process look like? If somebody listens to this and is like, yeah, I could use some accountability. I could be looking for, maybe I don't have a workout partner at home, a home gym kind of thing, or looking for that camaraderie, group chat accountability kind of thing. How can folks get involved there?
Yeah, so the easiest way to jump on with us is you can go right to our website and you can join right through there. And I think there's still a link on our Instagram as well that kind of brings you right to our WODIFY page. Where you can purchase, a monthly subscription and, jump right in through there. I think it's huntlifteat.wodify. It's pretty simple. So you can jump right on. We can post that link in there. And then it'll show you what we're running that month. You can jump right in. We've had the whole month of January for free for a ton of people jumping in and trying to check it out. And, I've got a lot of feedback and a lot of emails from everyone saying, positive things and how they really liked it within the app itself. So definitely check it out. WODIFY was actually, like Luke was saying, we trialed and errored a bunch of stuff. And building that out, I mean, you guys saw me stressed out. Like I didn't know what the hell I was doing at first, and it was kind of wild. But I could tell you, it's getting like pretty good right now, and I think I just hit like a realization the other day where I didn't even know the app did this. Is no matter what program you do, like a lot of gyms are on WODIFY. If you're with another gym and you did bench or you did something else through there or squat, and you entered your records on there, it tracks you're through the WODIFY app, so it'll tell you, you know, how you've progressed through different programs, which is really sweet that it's cross branded through everybody. That if you're, you know, you're a CrossFit guy doing a CrossFit gym, check it out, do one of our workouts, and you can compare actually your weight differences that you've done and hit PRs and everything, which is pretty sweet to say.
Kylie, why don't you kind of talk a little bit about the differences that you might see between, you know, the methodology between an HLE program and what you might see at a typical, you know, your run-of-the-mill CrossFit gym?
So run-of-the-mill CrossFit gym, it without kind of having a trainer or going into small group classes, you're going in for a singular class. Yes, they run in waves, and there's some engine building, but a lot of the times I find that CrossFit gyms lack focus on the strength program. A lot of our programs hit the big four, which is nice, and then you know, the accessories. I know a lot of CrossFit gyms also kind of skip the accessory parts where you're coupling some biceps and triceps. You know, you're doing some back days in order to create some hypertrophy for muscle growth and really build bases. So even as the programs progress between strength base, and then it incorporates some of the endurance, and then you're doing some endurance over speed and then speed over endurance, which is addressing different parts of your systems to increase your cardio health, which increases muscular health. It's a little more of a well-rounded than it is just going in and going for total speed or time or rounds each time you go into a gym.
Yeah, I CrossFitted for a long time, and there's definitely a lot of pros with CrossFit. I'm not one of these guys that's super anti, but my biggest issue was always the lack of focus on foundational strength, because everything is easier if you're strong, in my opinion. I mean, there's diminishing returns. You can be too big to try to do the things that we want to do with hunting and backcountry stuff, because your body becomes less efficient at utilizing oxygen and everything else. But it's usually not the case. Most of the time people are actually not strong enough. Like I can walk into a gym and be grossly out of shape but do the workouts prescribed in a CrossFit gym because I'm strong enough to do so, versus guys that have been CrossFitting forever can't. And even though I'm out of shape, like if you look at the prescription stuff, it's for what that's worth. And so building that foundational strength as your base, and then it's also, for most folks, it's going to be, you can increase your endurance and your metabolic conditioning significantly faster than you can actually build muscle and build strength. Like it takes a long time to build that muscle-mind connection and to also put on mass to actually build that lean tissue. And so by constantly having that, then with whatever you're doing sport-specific, whether it's a backcountry hunt or you want to go run a marathon or a Tough Mudder, or you want to do, you know, compete in CrossFit, like this foundational strength is going to really set the foundation, not to say that word so many times, but to really move forward in that area. That's what I found, at least. I'm not an expert in any of this. That's why you guys are here. But
Yeah, I found for some of the programs, I mean, we run them in cycles with an intention for a population to go along with them and support them on those cycles, right? So we did Balder and then Modi and then Magni, and then, but you don't have to do them in sequence. So if you have a specific goal in mind, you can just pick up a program and start running with it, which is a nice feature. And some of the things that we've talked about for growth within the company, or, you know, between us for potential opportunities, and that is, you know, some bridge programs. You know, if somebody doesn't want to stick something out for 14 weeks, or, you know, if they need something that's 35 minutes because they're in a time crunch or a cycle in their life that just doesn't accommodate a 16-minute workout. Those are all things that, you know, as a company and program builders, we're looking to make sure that offering is complete too.
our HLE road crew needs one that can be done with a sandbag in a parking lot.
And a kettlebell. Kettlebells
Yep.
are my favorite.
Yeah. We forgot two shows in a row now. We forgot to throw the sandbag and the kettlebell in the trailer. So we'll be at a 9-day show in Harrisburg doing body weight stuff unless we can find a local gym.
Well,
I
I'll
can
definitely
probably
be at
point you in the
Kylie.
right direction.
They'll run you
Perfect.
something. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, we definitely, have, big ideas for the future, and something that was a fatal mistake that I made, and luckily I had Bobby and Kylie willing to jump in and start helping out, is, we overextended. We did too many things at once, and so if you're a young entrepreneur, I would narrow your focus. We, at this point in the game, if I didn't have the team that we had, we would probably have imploded by now. And so I've had to shift my focus off of the programming and building that side of the house to focus on, the merchandise and the apparel and the team and the growth there, to try to then, build the foundation to be able to support everything else with capital and all that. But I mean, I think that there's definitely a need for it. I've been surprised with we basically don't do any marketing other than a couple posts here and there for the programs, how many programs that we sell through the website that are PDF, and then just the number of folks off, one email flow and one post that actually jumped into the programming. So the demand's definitely there, and I think it's something that we're really focused on, and what we've been talking about with the team here is really trying to build the educational side too. It's like the why behind it. I think that's really important, because if you're just following the paper, like, that's fine if you trust what you're doing, but like, who are we for you guys to trust, right? Like, you need to understand, the methodology behind the programs, why they're built the way they are, why you should do the entire thing and not just skip. Why, like, yeah, Boulder's great, and I think that for a lot of people that's plenty, is to do the kind of bodybuilding stuff, and it has a role within your overall long-term training. But if you're trying to train to go to elevation and carry, be under load on the side of a mountain, like, working all three of your energy systems is extremely important. You need to actually understand what that is, and that's something that we're really going to work in the future, is to continue to build out the educational side, especially with the content creation. We want to have like demonstrations of all the workouts on YouTube, and so you guys can have quick reference there. We don't have to redirect you somewhere else to folks we don't even know for that sort of thing. So that's something that's really big for me as we look long term.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier that there's the different phases or options for the programs. You have your beginner, intermediate, and then the advanced, which are all available. Because some people don't Western hunt, right? So there's a couple facets to this. And I mean, Western hunting, you are reaching greater elevations, or you're going for multiple days at a time. Backcountry hunting, you need to pack stuff out. Some people don't necessarily need to do that. They will, go down a logging road for a quarter mile, sit in a stand, or, have different goals within that. So one of the features is, as Bobby was trying to teach me the back end of WODIFY the other day, is really trying to communicate what cycle you're in the program and why it applies to you. So when you can make that connection, whether it's in a gym or through the program itself, and someone's reminding you, oh yeah, I did a building phase for the first 6 weeks. Now I need to retest, and I'm going to start to incorporate more endurance, or there's going to be some more WODs. We're going to increase rounds because, my engine, my total capacity to be able to perform needs to improve. We can send out notices, and we're going to try to figure out ways to make sure the public is clued in a little bit more and understanding those skill sets. And form gets missed a lot of the time, and one of the biggest feedbacks we got in our groups was, hey, this doesn't necessarily feel right, what can I do to change it? Which takes a little bit more conversation, but it's I think always been worth it. And I would say 9 times out of 10 they've found either an alternative that worked really well, or we kind of assessed it and change the way that they were lifting or performing a certain movement.
That's the huge value of having, you and Bobby, and we're looking at bringing in a couple other folks on the coaching side too. And to be able to bounce, those questions off of is huge versus just having the PDF. I mean, we always welcome questions. You can reach out to us via email or Instagram if you buy the PDFs. And the limiting factor there is I'm the one probably answering your questions. I might be able to bounce something off, but you might be better off on WebMD or Google if something's going wrong. So Having the coaches who have the experience, who have the certifications and the formal training it's kind of a game changer. Like right now I have a torn labrum. I tore it like a year ago and I'm trying to avoid surgery, but like I can't do all the things that I used to do, which one sucks because I'm a big ego guy when it comes to training. So I want to be able to do everything that I've always been able to do, but being able to have a coach as a sounding board to be like, hey, like the shoulder's not feeling right. Like, I don't think I can do these pull-ups. What's something I can do as a substitute? Okay, I'll just do, cable pull downs or whatever. Something to that effect. It's really nice. And it's definitely a huge value add to your training.
That's one of my favorite parts of the groups, the group chat that you have access to when you're doing these programs is I think of like Kerry, because of his prior job, he's got a lot of shit broken on his body. And whenever he's like, I don't know about this, not that he needs the help, but just think of him. But Kylie will very rapidly have a litany of examples or alternatives that you can do as well to still maintain the progress with the program, and not backslide at all and still be able to have, forward progress and stay on track with the program while also, protecting your physical health and not overdoing it.
Kylie made a sweet spreadsheet that's easy for me to follow. So if someone I just draw lines over it, says like you're doing this workout, this is your substitutes and everything, and there's a hyperlink for video library as well. So yeah, Kylie makes me seem smart.
And then somebody says, "How do you do this?" And I go, "Bobby, did you put the video in WODIFY when you loaded it?"
There are like 3 videos per workout now, and I think we have more examples, Levi, than anybody can ever see. My man's got more videos. Yeah, he won't listen to this.
I think he should be the HLE rep for all of our branded videos.
What's really cool is like Carter, like you kind of brushed on it before, is we have so many different levels of people doing this program. Like you have people that are like Carrie and everything like that, and then you got people like me that are way on the bottom doing these programs. No, I was kidding. It's just like so many different levels. Yeah.
That's what you want to hear from your coach.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't going to single somebody out and make them the bottom of the freaking list. I was like, let me be nice and make it myself. It's just so cool that you have so many different levels of expertise in these groups, everybody doing it. And it shows on the leaderboard, but it kind of pushes you to the next level too without actually pushing it. Because I see people all the time, like, I'm like, how is he doing that? I'm like, I'm bigger than him. And then, it pushes me a little bit more. And, when you look at our programs and sometimes people are like, whoa, this looks too complicated for me to understand. That's why we're here to kind of break it down for you and make it in layman's term, or Ask Jeeves or Ask Luke kind of, foundation there. And this way we kind of make it a little easier. Yeah. That's my 2 cents.
You just let everybody know how old you are with the Ask Jeeves reference there.
Bobby's 40 this year.
Yeah, 55.
He's got a...
WODIFY added so much gray to my beard.
Dude, every time I grow mine out, it's more and more gray. This company is aging me faster than the Army did.
Get an AARP discount in your next business.
God, I hope so.
One of my, kind of what you just mentioned, Bobby, one of my favorite things about WODIFY, if we're talking pros, you can see everybody who signed in for the day. That's like instant motivation, because I haven't had a workout partner since college, right? And I miss that a lot. So you can see everybody who signed into the class at least, right? Mm-hmm. And that's usually pretty good motivation, because you're either like, yeah, I'm crushing it, or like, oh boy, everybody logged in and I'm like the only one who didn't. I need to knock this out today. And then the leaderboard is sweet as well. We've got a couple guys in the Marine Corps running it right now, and on those run days, man, they just fly. And I wouldn't consider myself a runner, but I run a good bit, and that is a huge motivation when you see some of the times or some of the weights posted. That's just instant. I don't know. It scratches the ego a little bit to push a little bit to, not be complacent especially when you're by yourself, right? And you don't have visual accountability if you're that kind of individual. So I'll try and keep up with some of those guys on those runs and push it a little more. I forget who it is, maybe Kyle. He's like, yeah, I work for an organization that makes me
Yeah.
places a huge emphasis on running fast and doing pull-ups, and that's about it. And he just
If he's
crushes
not
those.
number one on the leaderboard, then I'm like, oh, he didn't do his workout yet today. Like he
Yeah.
just kills everything.
Yeah, but that's phenomenal motivation.
When Zach's on there, it's always impressive because that dude, he's a Marine as well, but he's like, what, 250? Like he's a
Big
big
dude.
boy and he can still move. Like it's crazy.
And on that, I would just like to note that if you're doing this, we can see your attendance. So don't not ever log into class and then cancel and say, I didn't like it. Like you didn't log in once. Like I know
Yep.
you didn't. So
Yep.
just saying.
We call people
We
out.
see it.
I'll see if there's a low attendance halfway through the day, and I know people have typically logged in already. They're getting messages. What are we doing today, guys? So
Yeah.
That's why I just turned off notifications.
That's been me the last 3 days. Not so good.
It's been me the last 3 months.
but that
Speaking once
community
for
of
years.
people, and the difference in the capabilities have, I think, challenged us as coaches a little bit too, to get creative in certain areas where you think something is straightforward or something that you didn't consider. I know I'm always trying to learn different approaches to thing or methods to achieve your front squat. I mean, front squats start with air squats, right? And then you can add with dumbbells or kettlebells. And there's different positions that you can hold the bar. So the community, when you see how they've scaled through WODIFY and the ways that they've approached the workout, either with or without checking with us first, are pretty interesting to see.
Yeah, definitely. What's crazy is like for years before I got like bigger into fitness, I was constantly on the bro split. I just did the bro split and thought I was doing something with my life there. I'm like, yeah, man, it's bro split for life. Like that's it. We're doing that. And then like I'd say it was 3 years ago now, I hit my heaviest weight with the highest body fat percentage. And this year I'm actually almost at my highest weight, but I'm at the lowest body fat percentage I've ever had. And it changes completely my body type of, I'm not doing a bro split anymore. I'm actually, everyone has a coach. I have a coach. We all have coaches. Like it's just listening to that next person above you and trying to follow a different foundation because, I mean, nothing against the bro split, but I think it's past those times now.
Color me surprised, Bobby.
Yeah, I think, trying new programs, new methodologies, getting outside of your comfort zone. Like it's really easy to get complacent with your workouts, right? Like I'm going to show up, I'm going to work out for an hour and a half. I'm going to move a little weight and then leave the gym. Like, and if you don't have a program or a coach or something that's there, like at least for me, and I think it stands pretty true across the board, is you kind of gravitate towards what you're good at naturally anyways. And so, for me, like I really like to lift heavy. It's what I'm good at. I can not do it for a long time. I walk in there, but then my cardio drops off like that. I can watch Carter eat and get fat. So like, it's really good for that level of accountability to have the program to put you in a position that like you might, like, God, like sometimes I think if you don't dread what you see on the paper or on the app, like you might not be doing it right, because pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone is really important. I don't mean you should hate your programming. If you get in there and you're like, this is not for me, that's fine. There's plenty of options out there, but just trying something new I think is really important. And then shop around. I mean, see what type of methodology nests with your goals physically, where you're trying to be across the board, and like do stuff that is sport specific. Now I don't mean if you're going on an elk hunt that all you should be doing is rucking. That's something that I see even amongst like our team and then our like guys on staff, like training for rucking by only rucking. Like after a 10.5-year career in the Army, I can tell you right now that's going to hurt you for longevity. So learning like how do you, like, what energy systems am I actually utilizing for whatever sport that I'm going to be doing or whatever pursuit I'm going to be doing, and then work that in different ways that are more sustainable long term to build your chassis, to build your core, to be able to do the work long term, and then have that kind of that long term mindset to what you're doing. Because for you youngsters that are in your 20s, like, yeah, you can just muscle your way through everything, but that shit goes way downhill real quick once you cross the threshold and you're starting to get closer to 40 than you are 30, right, Bobby?
Oh yeah, closer to 50 almost. but I'm still on top of that leaderboard, you bitches.
I'm so glad they're calling you out about age on here.
Yeah,
We know better, Kylie. We know better.
you know what Luke said is something that, like, if you're not dreading what you're seeing, then you're doing something wrong. David Goggins said, "Do something miserable each day, and that's how you build a better person." Couldn't be more true, man. Just get out there and do it.
Yeah, I was
Speaking of,
watching.
yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I was watching Huberman with Goggins talking about that, and like I'm gonna butcher all of it, but it was really interesting when he was talking about like your actual like development of your brain, and that the side of your brain that like overcomes obstacles, and if you're not consistently pushing it and actually doing something you don't want to do and still doing it, it's like the value of cold plunge goes beyond just the actual physical effects of the cold water. It's like you're crossing these mental hurdles throughout, and it's really interesting. So I won't go into the depths of it because I'm not Huberman, but definitely check that out because it's really interesting. And I think actually pushing yourself definitely outside your comfort zone. It's why, like, I mean, Carter, we were talking about it on that elk hunt that we did, that we just dropped the film on, and like the whole time we were like, fuck this is miserable. But I was like, in a week we're going to be talking about how we can't wait to get back on the mountain and do this shit again. And like, sure enough, as soon as the hunt was over, we were trying to figure it out. Like John and I, because there was still a day of hunting left, we're trying to do the math. We could drive back up to hunt another day and then come back down and just be late showing up to work. Because like it does something psychologically when you do something hard that I think is extremely beneficial.
Yeah, I'm actually going to use that clip tomorrow in my AP psychology class, and he ends up calling it the will to live part of your brain, and how it physically grows when you do. Like, I knew exactly what he was talking about because I've been known to skip a Metcon or two on the MODI program with regards to time restraints. So I know you mentioned earlier, Kylie, adapting programs a little bit. I want the Busy Dad HLE program. Eventually, as we continue to grow and modify and learn through each of these iterations. But, talking about like energy systems and goals with this current program with MODI, Kylie, could you talk a little bit about like what would be somebody's goals who wanted to be involved in this current program, and then maybe tied into the next program if people wanted to jump in to the next program we're talking about with Magni?
Yeah, the current program, again, it definitely hits your base strength, and it waves throughout the week and then throughout the program. So throughout the week, you're looking at base strength as, your first lift of the day. Then you have some accessories, some hypertrophy to back it up, and then usually some sort of WOD. So you have a finisher, and the finishers are that part that you're going to dread a little bit, but once you get through it, you're going to be super grateful that you did. Your next day will again give you some strength, and then it'll walk you through a little bit of endurance. Your third day is your heavy endurance day, whether it's a run or you're doing rowing, and then it kind of cycles backwards again. So that strength and that I call it an engine. I'm not sure exactly what you guys call it for kind of your total system. Hit there is building throughout all those weeks. Now the shift that happens from the program that we're doing now to the next program, Magni, is that you're going to increase the endurance portion. So it's like maintaining that strength that you started to build, which if you don't have much, you're still going to build if you jump right into that program, into Magni, but it's going to hit the endurance harder. So it's going to say, hey, we've built the base. Now we're going to maintain that base, and we're going to start making sure that your cardio is being really stimulated by the system. So be prepared and you don't just have to run, right? So there's always an option to bike. There's always an option to ski. I swim sometimes just for the pressure relief, and it's good for your joints. So there's always options, but really it's the cardio portion and the distance. Cumulative distance that you're looking for in that program.
You swim a lot.
So I try to. I was up to swimming almost 3 days a week. I try to take breaks from some of these programs and from my Olympic lifting, and get in the pool, and it's underestimated. I'll tell you that.
And by a lot, I mean she'll go swim like 1.5 miles in the mornings and then work out in the afternoons and still smoke me on the leaderboard.
Well, last year I trained for a swim, run, swim. So I had to swim a half a mile in open water, and then I had to run a 5K, and then jump back in the water and swim another half a mile. So, I know, something to shake it up.
Me and Luke will watch from the sidelines on that one.
The best shape I've ever been in was when I was doing a lot of swimming. Like it definitely is very underrated. Logistically, it can be difficult if you don't have access to a pool, an indoor pool, especially with weather and everything. But yeah, I highly recommend it. I was swimming a lot when I was in Europe because I was traveling a lot. So the hotels in Eastern Europe are dirt cheap, so we were getting like really nice ones that had super awesome pools, and I would do laps in the morning and stuff. And it's a great way to just let your body rest, still move, and I mean the endurance work is unparalleled. It's awesome. I should do it more. Carter, we need a pool.
Let's do it. Let's build a pool.
And an HLA swim
HLA
program.
experience pool.
Yeah. Maybe one
No,
day.
and there's just little things like that you can cycle into programs. So even if you were doing Boulder, I'm just going to go back to the bodybuilding Boulder. So I coach, or assistant coach with wrestling program, right? So when you come into wrestling season, a lot of the kids haven't been doing very much before they get there. And my recommendation, and some of them implement it and some of them don't, is to incorporate, start with 15 minutes and just do cycle waves on an assault bike. You don't have to go running. Like my son, who wrestles, he's a 215 pounder, 6'1", so he doesn't love to run. He's more of a thrower, hurts his knees, get on the bike. And then you increase from 15 minutes to 20 minutes to 25. And if you're doing 2 to 3 30-minute waves, your endurance for any sport that you're in, but specifically for wrestling, is going to compound pretty quick.
I think that, yeah, the assault bike sucks. It's awesome.
I was just gonna say that.
I
It's a
bought one.
love-hate relationship.
I have one in my garage, and
I
it's
bought one.
when I'm actually on my game. I have a little Metcon that I do, which is kettlebell swings and the assault bike. Do 15 calories, 15 heavy swings, and then do that back and forth for 15 rounds. And that is one of the worst workouts I've ever done. But I really like the bike, and in working that, we call it metabolic conditioning. It's what WODs and CrossFit. You're working that high intensity interval training style. That is the best modality that I have seen in methodology for training for altitude, because you can't replicate, like, no matter what the marketing on the breathing restriction masks and everything, you can't train for the lack of oxygen in the air. But what you can train is your body's efficiency to work in low oxygen states. That's where swimming actually comes into play, right? Doing I used to do a lot of like drown proofing and just long swims underwater and all that stuff, and like that style of training really lends itself to being at altitude, and it'll help you prevent altitude sickness. It helps your body's ability to recover quicker across the board because you're just a lot more efficient. And then everybody hates running, and there's a bunch of substitutions you can do, but like that long steady state exercise is going to help you for the duration of the hunt as well. The best shape I've ever been in rucking, I didn't ruck at all I did was run. I worked on cutting weight, and I worked up to running a half marathon and a sub 9 pace, and which is the fastest I've ever been at distance. I'll probably never see that again, but I was able to ruck for my timed military times, like the fastest by far. I shaved off like 22, 23 minutes off of my 12-mile time. And just understanding the different energy systems you've got, and leveraging that in your training, I think is really important, because it's so easy to just focus on, I want to be strong, or I want to do this, I want to do that. But whatever that goal is, really apply that to what you're doing within your programming, because there's nothing worse than being on the side of a mountain and you start having issues with your heart rate spiking, you get altitude sickness. Like we saw it on this last hunt. Like one of our guys got sick, and the dude's the fittest guy in the camp. But you've got to understand your body and how it works at altitude. And if you're coming from sea level and you're going to 9,000 feet, like it doesn't matter how much like natural shape you're in. If you're not specifically training for that, you're gonna feel the effects. And if you don't address them early on the hunt by mitigating them, or you didn't do the legwork in the front, or you didn't do the legwork in the front, and it can pull you off the mountain quick, and cut your hunt early. And that's just I'm kind of tailoring this specifically to backcountry hunting, because that's obviously a lot of our focus, but it really applies to anything that you're wanting to do. You need to focus on that specific thing.
Yeah, I don't know that there was any amount of rucking that could have prepared me. I can never keep up with my husband, period, because he's, 6'3" and his legs are like up to my chest. But when we went on our sheep hunt this year, he did not train quite as much, but we're taking. I had a 55-pound pack that I carried around the whole time. There was no amount of training. I didn't say no amount. That was going to prepare me for full days the way that we did it, and even the training that I did do in addition to Olympic lifting or swimming or doing. I think we were doing part of Vidar at the time, and then I was rucking up the mountain at our house. By day 9, I could start to feel that it was going downhill. So keeping the goal of the training, I think, to your point, is the biggest leverage that you have to be successful in building up to either your hunt or completing a program. So, I wasn't going to do Boulder for 6 months and get anywhere when we were out in Montana. So understanding what those applications are, and that's why you can ask the coaches, is this a program that I should use for this? There's ways to figure it out without, feeling lost.
Yeah, and I would say, listeners, if you have a specific goal in mind, reach out to Kylie or Bobby and see what programs may fit your personal goals, right? It may not be the one we're running. Like Luke was just talking about half marathon, and we got a program for that. The Hermod program is something I run every year before cross country season in the fall. That's like what I do over the summer to get me ready to run with those high school kids and try and keep up. So reach out and see what we got going on. And like Luke said, shop around kind of thing, but you don't know what you don't know. And we have a lot of varied programs with different goals in mind. And I've run different programs than what we've done in the class, but I like being in the group chat for the accountability program, or for the accountability part of the class as a whole. I'm just doing a different workout,
Yeah. I mean, if anyone, I don't know, Luke, if you're okay with this, but we can do drop-ins. So if someone wants to hit me up, I can put them in a class for the day just to give it a little trial, and then
Sure.
we can sign you up. And I think that'd be really cool, so you can see exactly what we're all talking about. Jump in for one day and do the workout, and you'll be hooked. You'll be on there.
Yeah, I don't care if you want to test it out for a week. Just message Bobby through Instagram or reach out to me, and I'll forward you to Bobby. You can email him too, just Bobby at Hunt Lift Eat, and yeah, do a full week, and he can set you up with a free account for a week and see if it's something you like. Like, I've got no issue with that at all. I don't want you guys to commit for a month and then hate the program. Like, that's not our intent, isn't to like steal money from anybody. So we definitely want you guys to move forward with your goals. That's the whole reason I built the the programs on the front end was because I didn't build them, but it's why I had Pete build them, because I kept having questions about programming constantly. It was at the time was what I was getting the most questions about outside of just our products and stuff. And so I was like, man, there's definitely a need for this, and on the educational side, and it's something we need to do a better job of. And we've got big plans for the future, and I think that we're going to be able to pour a lot more time into that, especially once I get out of the Army and we can start doing some deliberate, efforts on the education side, on the marketing side for one, and then just making the product better as a whole, whether that's continuing to improve within WODIFY or starting to develop our own fitness app. I think that there's a lot of room there to grow, and I'm excited. If you guys have any feedback, constantly give it to us. I mean, that's how we do better. We want to iterate. We want feedback. We want to learn. We want to figure out what's working, what's not. What do you guys like? What do you not like? Like, that's the only way we provide the value in the product, that you guys want, and that's what we're here for. That's why we're doing all of this.
What do you think about that, Bobby?
It's awesome, man. Think about, I kept joking and saying we're at iceberg stage right now. Like, we just have a little tip out right now, and there's so much below the surface that we're working on that we're going to be breaking through real soon. It's really cool to see. I mean, it's really cool for me to see how far WODIFY's come, because I was day one trying to build this thing out, and I'm like, this is not going to fucking work. So, that was me. So, Yeah, I think we've come definitely a long way of seeing how this came, and it's kind of, in my opinion, it's just really cool to see everybody enjoying it, everybody getting the accountability, and just being together and working out.
If
Yeah,
you want to talk about the membership base involvement too, though, I mean, people have really, really gotten into it, and I think it's cascaded into the different regions. And then, everybody's looking for a different way to get their region either more fit or engaged somehow. So, I know there was Hero Week. We've done ruck challenges before. The Northeast did 31 days of January, and so as an HLE member, there's other cascading benefits from these programs and our approach to fitness and how that works in for the Hunt Lift Eat community that have really had positive impacts, I think, across everyone.
Yeah, that's been really cool to see is the other regions jumping in and doing different challenges. I mean, there's like 4 or 5 different challenges going on across the U.S. right now, which is really cool to see for Carter and I as, the guys that have been here forever. Like it's starting to take on a life of its own outside of what we would even want to implement, which I love. I mean, that's the overall intent. So it's really starting to get legs, across the board. The programming, the team. At this point, I'm just struggling to catch up and maintain pace with the company as a whole, which is a good problem to be in. And we've got a lot of big things planned across the board. And something that's really cool, if you guys are going to be in the Northeast in a couple weeks at Great American, you can actually meet Bobby and Kylie at Great American Outdoor Show in, 2 weekends?
Right.
No, it's this weekend.
Well, starts.
Aren't you guys going next weekend, though?
Yeah, I'm going to be next weekend.
I'll be there the 4th and then the 9th, so both weekends, at least one of the days.
Oh, fancy.
Hell yeah.
I'm bringing my shake weight, so see you guys there.
We're going to do a morning workout, shake weights only.
I'm not coming those days. It's
I'm
bringing it back for me, so.
I'll be there Wednesday afternoon at the show, and then for the rest of the show, I think I got to fly out Sunday morning. But yeah, it's going to be cool. So we're hitting the expo circuit hard right now. We just finished up ATA and SHOT Show, Great American next. Then Garrett and the event crew will be at National Wild Turkey in Nashville. I'll be in Salt Lake City with a couple other guys. We don't have a booth at Western Hunt Expo, but we'll be there networking and seeing folks. So definitely, you see us, reach out if you're coming to the shows, rep some gear if you've got it. It'd be really cool to see a lot of folks out there, and definitely plug in with us because we've got a lot of stuff in the works. We'd love to meet you guys in person, and I know I get the most questions on if we're going to go to Great American when I get messages on both Instagram and through email. That seems to be the big show, so we're excited to have a booth there, so definitely come check it out. Yeah, and I think we're going to do a pint night. Is that the 9th, Carter? Do you know, Bobby?
Yeah.
At Appalachian Brewing Company on the 9th, and it's a team event with some of the local regional folks there, but everybody, general public's welcome. So if you want to come have a couple beers, eat some dinner, come out. It's going to be that evening of the 9th, so we'd love to see you guys.
Bring your shake weight.
I worked there when I was like 20.
Really?
Yeah.
Small world.
Do they allow shake weights?
I don't know. I'm going to say no.
Yeah. BYOS, bring your own shake weight.
It is something, as we going forward and we get more organized, I'd love to start doing like morning workouts at some of these shows and open it up, let folks come out and knock something out. I think that's something we can look at for next year. Right now we're just struggling to get from show to show to show, but as life tames out a little bit and we can get more organized, I think that would be a really cool initiative to launch for 2025.
Didn't you guys pilot that for one of your archery shows?
Yeah, so at all the Mountain Archery Fest events this year that are nationwide, so for those aren't familiar, Mountain Archery Fest, it's like a version of TAC, same general concept, 3D archery shoot. It's got a different feel. You don't have to wait in line for 6 hours to shoot, which is cool. Nothing against TAC, but it's just fills a different need, I guess. So we're partnered with MAF, and we're doing the HLE Mountain Fitness Challenge at every 3D shoot. You can register on the website, and then you can go to MAF's website. And if you're a team member, you get a big discount as well. So that's another awesome benefit for your shooter package. But on a fitness challenge, it's 5 lanes, 5 exercises, utilizing it's a elk quarter target with a sandbag attached from Primal Pursuit. It's a really cool little implement that you can do fitness with it, and you can also shoot it, which is cool. So you'll do an exercise per lane, and then when you get to the end of the lane, you drop the sandbag, run to the firing line, you shoot 1 arrow, and then you come back and rinse and repeat for 5 different lanes, 5 arrows at variable distance, and it's pretty interesting to watch. You'll have guys that are pretty good shooters, and then they start redlining that heart rate, and all of a sudden they're missing targets at 25 yards, and they're cussing all the way back down the lane. And so there's point deductions based on how you shoot, or point additions across the board. And it's been we started it last year at a couple different shoots, and then this year we're going to do it at all of them. So I'm excited for that going forward, because we got some pretty cool prizes. We're talking to a few folks about sponsoring it as well. So it should be good. If you guys are interested in that sort of thing, definitely come out. It's going to be on Saturday afternoons. And then we also have a course. So the Western hunting course at all MAF events is the Hunt, Lift, Eat course, which is cool. And that's that's a really good course if you guys are going to go shoot at those Mountain Archery Fest events.
Awesome.
Carter did it last year. How was it, Carter?
I think I had a small heart attack.
You were also really hungover.
Sounds like you do your Metcoms.
I was pretty hungover.
Probably
You were
should've-
skipping that finisher there on all your workouts, huh?
We probably should have
think
drank till
I-
4 in the morning.
Yeah, I still think I won both events, but I did almost have a heart attack.
Yeah, it's interesting to do that, because it's like stress inoculation, right? Like you're working at being able to like control your breathing, control your heart rate management, and it's directly applicable to hunting, but especially in archery, because you're that much closer. Like I get fired up, my heart rate spikes if a doe walks out, and so if you work your entire year in preparation, if you don't shoot under stress in any of your training, you're doing yourself a disservice. So it's a great way to test yourself and see where you're at. And then the other added stressor is not only just the fact that you're doing the exercises, you've got another guy or gal right next to you that's also doing the exercises. So you're going head to head, so you're that much more stressed across the board. So you're trying to get to the firing line. And there's a lot of strategy to it too, to how hard do you go, speed versus point deduction, speed versus accuracy across the board. So you got to kind of think about it. You can't just go full bore and redline the entire time, because you're probably not going to shoot very well unless you're just really, really good at shooting with a 137 heart rate.
That's me.
I think you missed a couple of them.
I don't miss.
There's some lost arrows on that course.
He was too hammered. He was seeing 2 targets. He just aimed at the one on the right. Got it every time.
Props to him for doing it. I didn't do it, so. He was like, "You gonna do it with me?" I was like, "Absolutely not." I think I would have died. But yeah,
That's good.
so we got a lot of cool shit in the works. So definitely come check it out. Come see us at Great American if you guys are going to be in that neck of the woods. I know we have a lot of listeners that are up in the Northeast, so it'd be really cool to meet some of you guys in person.
And, there's a lot of savages on this team and in these programs. If you're not on the team, you want to get involved, message Kylie or Bobby. They can shout out their Instagrams here in a minute. And, shout out to like Josh Day and John Kilter. I mean, there's some savages on the team getting after it. So if you're looking to mix it up or want to check out something
Are you
new,
guys doing
highly encourage you
live
to get involved.
or in-person interviews?
So we actually changed the onboard. So my intent from the beginning, Carter and I, always talked about it, was, well, we didn't really have intent when we first started this, but as we grew, we started to realize we needed a path. And so we wanted to be pretty closed with the interviews. For a while, they would close and open and close. Some of you guys have seen that. But to this point, we've interviewed every single team member, either myself, Carter, or Carrie, or Charlie, or Bobby, or Derek, or any number of our folks that have been on the interview team sporadically over the last 2 years. But we've kind of gotten to the point that when we've kind of realized the folks that are interested in this in the first place. And So we're actually opening up the membership. So we have a referral system now, which is really cool. That's going live. It'll be live actually when this podcast drops. So if you know a team member and you're interested, you can go through them, get the link, and then you guys will get put in for a monthly drawing. And then we're going to have quarterly drawings after that as well. That's kind of cumulative. And then you can also just go to the join the team program page on our website and go through, make sure it's something you're interested in, and then you can sign up. And then we have onboarding calls post sign up now, so you can actually go through, get your orientation to the app, all the benefits, all the scheduling, all the stuff we're doing. But we want to start opening up the membership a little bit, because really the number one complaint we have from folks is the lack of localized events, and the only real way to do that is to grow the team more. And so we're in a position now where we think we have the right base. I've been really impressed with the self-policing and correcting. I've been in group chats my entire career from the military, and they can kind of get out of hand sometimes. A lot of problems can arise from them, so I was always really leery about that. But I've been really impressed with the self-policing that happens within the individual regions. We're also getting ready to subdivide our regions again, so we're going to go from 8 to probably 12, maybe 14. Carter and I have to finalize that here over the next couple weeks, but we're going to stand up new regional leadership, really try to localize everything even more. We're centering the regions around the population centers where we see a lot of team members, and that way we have the ability to do a lot more stuff in person. Because the biggest problem we have now is you'll have concentrations and pockets based on where a major metropolitan area is, or where the population is. But then you've got guys and gals that might be left out to the wolves. Another thing we're doing is we're standing up Women in the Wild reps for every region, which I think is going to be really cool, because we want to do a lot more for the ladies. We did our first women's event, and it's hard when everybody has to travel, right? And like right now we're doing them on the East Coast, and so it's like difficult with timing. And so we want to be able to do more of that stuff regionally, and so folks have the opportunity to attend, and they don't have to fly across country, take off work for 3, 4, 5 days to be able to do it. So that's kind of the roadmap of where the team's heading. But yeah, so the membership is now open. So if you go through the link on the website, you can go ahead and join. And then we're also we have a big update for our app coming, version 2, which is a long time coming, because a bunch of hillbillies trying to figure out technology. There's a lot of issues and problems with it, but we're hoping to mitigate a lot of those with this next version that's coming out. So we're really trying to make a concerted effort to improve everything we're doing across the board as we move forward.
Great plug there, Luke.
It's all Carter's brainchild.
All right. I just work here. Yep. Working hard. Listening to the people. We're men of the people. Check it out.
But yeah, I mean, we're, like I said before on the programming, it's not just the programming, it's across the board. Like we're all ears for feedback. We can't improve what we're doing and the services we're providing if we don't get the feedback. I've had a couple great conversations with team members here recently on, some of the issues or perceived issues they may have, and I need to do a better job of messaging and talking about this stuff. We're working a bunch of stuff behind the scenes. I get kind of narrow, singular focused in that, and I don't talk about it enough. So we definitely are doing a lot to try to improve everything behind the scenes. But we're in a big transition period right now, and we're also in the stage of growth with the company that there's a lot going on with, our sales are the best they've ever been, but getting ahead of the inventory is really difficult. We're having to buy more than we're making, and so it's a difficult time in our growth. So just be patient with us as we go forward, because we're definitely working to improve everything and continuing to grow. And I'm trying to get out of the Army, which is difficult.
Nothing's ever easy, man.
No. If it was easy, it wouldn't be worth doing, I don't guess.
That's right.
That's why you need a coach. Bobby and I are here.
You can hold me to this. When I get back to Colorado, I'm cleaning. The first thing I'm doing is unfucking my garage, because right now it's got cardboard boxes and everything from the events. So my gym is fixed. And then Caroline and I have already talked about it. We're going to start rotating with the kids so we can each get a good workout in every day. So I will be training again in no less than 12 weeks. Or 12 days, excuse me.
I was going to say 12 weeks is a big stretch.
Yeah, no, 12 days. And I'm trying to at least get a little bit, get some steps in when I do calls during the day and stuff. I go walk to the end of my road and back. But yeah, I need to, just for my mental health. I mean, there's more than just physical benefits to the training, like we were talking about before. Like there's it helps with your anxiety. It helps with stress. It just kind of clears the deck in your brain. And it's also a great time to think. I do a lot of thinking when I'm training. I solve a lot of the problems that I have, things that going through your mind. I think it's really important for the holistic approach for your life. Everybody should have a training regimen. And if you're in a funk and things aren't going the way you want to, if you just start, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. It doesn't have to be one of our programs. Just walk to the end of the driveway and back. Start there and go. Try to eat clean. Get rid of all the processed shit. Like it'll change your life for sure. That's the other thing we don't talk enough about is the eat portion of Hunt Lift Eat.
We got some cool things going on. I know that Northeast is putting together a cookbook, right? And everybody's excited to share how their experiences are with different styles of eating. But yeah, the eating portion, everyone likes to do it, but nobody wants to own it yet, right?
Yeah, we're getting there. We got a couple guys that have been wanting to get on the nutrition side, so I think we'll start producing a lot more educational material around that here soon. We've had some good seminars with the team, but we need to start kind of getting back into that. No doubt, tackle all the pillars of the company.
But if you're looking to make changes, I would not recommend you start working out and change your diet all at the same time. That's not a recipe for success.
No, actually, that's a great point. I've always been my entire life. Like, I'm not a moderation guy. I'm either like all in or all out. It's like I'm either crazy strict with my diet and training my ass off, or I'm just like a lazy piece of shit. And what I've really tried to work on over the last year and a half or so is like understanding that incremental change and incremental improvement is still improvement. And so like knowing, like I just accepted the season of life that I'm in right now. And so I haven't been beating myself up for the training. It's like do what I can when I can. But what I can control a lot easier is like what am I putting in my mouth. And so like I quit drinking and I've really been like strict on, I've been not weighing my food and stuff, but just like monitoring my macro intake and then like sticking to meat, fruit, and then a little bit of hard cheese. And like, I think I'm down like 15 pounds in January, and it's just from like little incremental changes. It's nothing crazy. It sucks on the road. I'm living off beef jerky and cheese, but like it's not that hard. And so just making that change. And then when you add in your training a month later, like now it's a lot easier because it's an incremental shift versus trying to turn the Titanic on a dime.
Yeah, trying to manage too many stressors, which come with change, is something's going to fall off. So if you want to stick to it and commit to it, go through the 30 and 60-day creation of habits, and then integrate something small and manageable beyond that once you have something else established.
Bob, you have a lot of experience with that.
With what? Eating? I love to eat. Yeah.
Well, you cut a ton of weight, and then you built the habits that have sustained for like 3 years, right?
I have, yeah. So that's kind of what I was just going to say is everybody kind of, like, I single my mom out on this all the time. My mom is a yo-yo dieter, and a yo-yo dieter just follows the next fad and just sticks to that fad and does it for a little bit, goes gung-ho, and then falls off. It's got to be lifestyle changes, and that's the easiest way to do it. And small moderation changes of switching different sugars, different sweeteners, and things like that, it's just game changer. Now you're just stuck with it. And like Kylie was saying, people automatically assume that they're going to stop eating, cut their calories, and just jump into a program. You're going to get sick. And that's probably what's going to happen is you're not getting the right carb intake, you're not having the right energy, you're going to feel like shit, you're going to feel more bloated, and it just doesn't, it's a recipe for disaster. Just carry on what you're doing, make those small changes, and eventually they just start rolling into a snowball, and you'll really start to see a lot of changes.
Hell yeah.
Big eat clean guy over here.
Big eat clean guy. We coaches, we got any calls to action or wrap up thoughts about Modi, Magni, WODIFY?
I just want to say I want to see more people jumping in. Every time I get an email that someone joins, it makes me really happy that one, you're making a change for yourself, and two, you're supporting us. So it's really cool to see that there's so many people out there that are joining in and jumping in with this. And like we said before, if you're looking for a guest pass to jump in and try it out, hit me up. I'll get you in there. I can drop you into the class for that week, and then you can kind of see for yourself where it takes you, and see what you're missing out on, because you're gonna have some straight fear of missing out, some straight FOMO if you're not joining it.
Yeah, Bobby and I love to coach. I mean, we do this because we enjoy it. I know I've been coaching and for at least 15 years, in addition to, competitive sports and just expanding the variety of things that I know so I can help people individually, has been the biggest goal. And then I know Bobby's joined for similar reasons, and also applying knowledge that he's learned along his journey. So give us a chance to get involved with your goals is really what we're looking forward to.
Hell yeah. Anything, boss man?
No. One, thank you to Bobby and Kylie for jumping in and running the programming side, because we would have never been able to do it without their work and their work ethic and their professionalism. I mean, for what it's worth with Bobby, but Kylie is definitely a professional, and it's awesome to bring her in, and she's righted the ship a little bit. But no, I'm kidding, Bobby. I couldn't do this without you guys, with the team as a whole, both on the HQ side and the overall team, and then all of our customers and listeners and everybody that just supports this company. Like Carter and I were talking about it earlier. We were talking about it to a team member who's like super fired up about the future and everything, and it's refreshing, because this shit sucks. Like, I'll be honest, like starting a company and like growing it and scaling it, like it wears on you hard, especially, in the phase that we're in. And that's what makes it rewarding to me. Like, yeah, I want to be able to make this company profitable. I want to be able to, pay all of our employees and pay myself, hopefully one day. That's definitely the end state of what we're doing, but the why, like, it would be a lot easier to just go get a job and make way more money. The why is one I like to build and create, but it's really the impacts that I've seen on that I just never expected from what we're building, both on the community side with the team and the fitness programming. You see guys on the team, there's a guy, I won't name him by name, but like, he on his interview was like, yeah, I need to lose like 150, 200 pounds. And then he was sending videos during the Northeast Challenge of him doing burpees and push-ups and like getting up and moving and like doing, like, that's badass. Like, that's what this is all about for me, is trying to build something that people can come together and improve their lives. And it's what's making, the idea of getting out of the Army for me easy, versus if I didn't have this, it would be, kind of terrifying, because not having that tribe, not having that community, not having that support system. So, I just thank you guys across the board for everything you do and support on the building of this, because it's not lost on me. And it stresses me out actually sometimes, because I'm like, we gotta turn this right this ship so we can take care of everybody. But no, I love it, and I'm excited for the future. We're on the right track, like with the team, the group that we have. Like, we can't not move forward and grow and do what we need to do. So thanks, guys. Even you, Bobby.
Even me.
I love your beard, by the way. It looks good.
It does look good.
This my wife hates it, absolutely despises it. But I told her, when we were in antelope camp, when you had to shave your face going back to the Army, I'm like, I'm just gonna keep mine growing until Luke grows his back out again. So do me a favor, grow your beard again so I can shave.
You need to not shave. That's a good look. It's way better than that Marshall Mathers chin strap you had going on for most of the time I've known you. You look rugged. You fit in with the brand better.
Thanks. Makes me look tougher than I am. Even the grays.
I've been trying to get Carter to let his go for a long time. He'll let it go for a while, and then he'll shave it. He gets all self-conscious.
Yeah.
You
He's
wonder
also
why.
a teacher, so.
He's sensitive.
I'm the sensitive one.
What do you got, Carter?
Not much, man. I always like hearing what other facets of the team have to say about what we're building here. And we should do this more often, honestly. I know everybody's busy as shit, but I really enjoyed this last hour. A lot of respect for Kylie and Bobby. And, Bobby and I have been wearing a lot of hats with this company over the last couple of years. And like you said, it's always refreshing to hear. And I want this message to get out there to every listener, and I want people to hear the message and jump in and check it out. Because I'm, fully bought in. I want other people to share and experience that community and what we're building here. So I know we say it every week, when we close off a podcast that we appreciate all of our listeners, but want everybody to know we appreciate all the listeners, right? That's no small thing. We've been doing this for a while, and shoot, we'd still do this if we only had one listener, if it was just Bobby, but God, we would appreciate that one listener, you know? So
right.
appreciate you guys.
Is this 2 or 3 years?
3.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Yep. Hell yeah. Like Carter said, we appreciate the hell out of you guys. Come see us at Great American. It's Thursday. All the Fish Lift Eat gears, 50% off on the website. Shameless plug. I got to clear out inventory, so go buy some shit, please. Appreciate it.
We'll talk to you guys next
Honesty.
week.